Hello to all of our new Tritons beginning their exchange program this spring 2024. On behalf of the International Services and Engagement Office, also known as ISEO, good afternoon. We're excited to welcome you to UC San Diego. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. First, you're on listen-only mode. You can hear us, but we can't hear you. Next, we're recording. This webinar will be posted at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. Lastly, please use the Q&A box to get your questions answered. Even if we aren't able to answer them today through our chat or during our Q&A session at the end of our session, there will be a variety of ways to connect with ISEO and get these questions answered. Visit icontact.ucsd.edu to connect with us after today's session. I want to take a moment to introduce ourselves. We are here to support you and help answer any questions you might have today. My name is Vanessa Cisneros, and I'm an international student advisor here at UCSD. I've had the privilege of living in places such as Japan, Korea, Saudi, Mexico, and so I know the thrill of moving to a new place and commend your decision to choose San Diego as a place to spend a term for your collegiate experience. I look forward to getting to know you, and we're always here and happy to help. And I will pass it off to Miss Felicia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Felicia Young. I am also one of our international student advisors, as well as our sponsored student and special programs coordinator. So I do help support all of our exchange students while they're here at UC San Diego. I'm sure you may have seen my name on your DS 2019. I am I don't want to say native to San Diego, but I grew up in San Diego most of my life, and it is a beautiful, wonderful place to live. So I'm very excited that you will be spending the next 10 or 11 weeks with us and enjoying our wonderful city. If you ever have any questions or need assistance, again, we're all here to help you. I will turn it over to our next advisor, Joe.
Hello, welcome. My name is Jo Peters, and I'm also an international student advisor here at ISEO. I've been with UC San Diego for, I believe, 10 years now. And I was actually born and raised in Germany. So English is also not my first language, it's my second language. And yeah, I arrived many years ago to the US, a new foreign country. So I feel, yeah, well, I know what it feels like for you guys. And so I love to help international students just like you to adjust here. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe and Felicia. Now let's begin. We are happy to welcome you to our session today, Know the Rules for J1 Students. Today's session is relevant to global exchange students who are already in the US or are planning to enter the US soon to begin studying inside of the US this spring quarter. We'll talk about your support system on campus. We'll review your immigration documents together and perform what's called a document self-check and discuss F1 regulations and review resources for travel and emergencies. We have a team of 20 friendly advisors, administrative staff, and student assistants who are ready to help you during your time here at UC San Diego. ISEO can advise you on understanding your immigration status, rules for working on and off campus, traveling, and on how to adjust your classes and campus life. Through the programs we offer, you can find events to help you create the best experience while you are studying at UC San Diego. Programs are events or engagement opportunities where you can meet other students, enjoy social and cultural experiences, and learn about campus resources and your immigration benefits. ISEO is not the only office on campus who will help you during your program. As an exchange student, you have been assigned to one of our colleges. Your college academic advising office is here to help you navigate any general academic questions during your program. You can also rely on your professors in your classes. We encourage you to make an effort to get to know your professors, particularly during their weekly office hours. This is a great time to get clarification on something presented during class or to share your interest in what is being taught. Lastly, there are other offices on campus that can help you during your program. For example, the Career Center is an excellent resource for career planning. Sometimes asking one question, such as, "Can I work on campus this quarter?" will require that you communicate with ISEO, Career Services, and the office or department on campus where you'd like to work. So as you can see, your support system at UC San Diego is made up of various units on campus. As you begin your exchange program, take note of varying communication methods that are used on our campus. While you can contact our office by coming into Zoom advising, email, and in person at our front desk, other campus units may only be available through Virtual Advising Center, also called VAC. While other offices may have drop-in advising online or in person. You will need to do some research on the department's website to figure out how to contact the different departments that make up your support system. And with that, I'll hand it over to Joe.
Thank you, Vanessa. So now we will perform a document self-check together. If you have these documents handy, please take them out. Even if you don't have them with you right now, we will be still reviewing them together so you know what they are once you obtain them. So please take out your passport with the visa page, your DS 2019, and your electronic I-94 if you've already entered the US. Your immigration documents are extremely important. You'll use them during your program to apply for work authorization, a driver's license, bank account, social security card, and other benefits. It is important to keep all copies of your Form DS 2019 issued from ISEO in every institution you attend. You never know when you will need them. Remember to keep all of your documents valid and up to date. It's also a good idea to have your original documents in a safe place and to keep digital copies on your phone so they are easily accessible. Lastly, each time you prepare for international travel and each time you re-enter the US, remember to do a document self-check. You can visit iselfcheck.ucsd.edu for a thorough guide on understanding your documents and keeping them valid and up to date. Now let's learn how to do this together. The first document is your passport. If you have it, please turn to the page with your picture and biographical information. Check to ensure your biographical information is correct. Your passport should always be valid at least 6 months into the future. Since all of you will only be attending UC San Diego for this 1 quarter, you should not need to renew your visa during your short time with us. The next document is your US visa. This page should be located inside your passport. You can think of your visa like a key. You only need a valid visa to enter the US. However, once you're inside of the US, it's okay if you no longer have the key or a valid visa, as long as you're maintaining your status. We'll talk about what that means later. And you can remain in the US with an expired visa. When reviewing your visa, ensure your biographical information is correct. Note the number of entries, which lets you know how many times you can enter the US during the validity of your visa. S means you can only enter the US one time or a single time during the validity of your visa, while M means you can enter the US multiple times during the validity of your visa. Also look at your visa type and expiration date. It should say J1 and likely will expire at the end of your program in June 2024. A valid visa is required to seek entry to the US. If your visa expires, it can only be renewed outside the US, in a US embassy or consulate. Let's take a look at your DS 2019. J1 students are also obligated to keep their Form DS 2019 up to date. Make sure the program end date, which is an expected program end date, is valid. In addition to the program level, major, and biographical information. You must submit any changes within 10 days by submitting a request to ISEO through the iPortal. It's unlikely that you will have any changes that would require you to submit the request to our office. Let's review the travel signature section on the right side at the bottom of the page. Since your exchange program is 1 quarter long and you will complete your program here at UC San Diego, at the end of spring quarter, you will not need to request an updated travel signature. In general, a travel signature is valid for 1 year and can be used to seek entry to the US multiple times during your program. You will receive your most updated electronic form I-94 once you have arrived to the US. This is known as your arrival departure record. You can generate your electronic form I-94 online about 24 to 48 hours upon arrival by visiting i94.cbp.dhs.gov. Once you are on that website, you have to enter your information from your passport to review your I-94. Then you'll be able to print or take a screenshot of your Form I-94. Check to ensure the class of admission is correct. It should say J1. Check that the admit until date states D/S and that your name is correct. Ensure you save it as a PDF and keep it for your records. Each time you enter the US, your I-94 record will be replaced with information from your most recent entry to the US. If any of this information is incorrect, please contact ISEO as soon as possible so we can assist you with correcting the information. In addition to your immigration documents, you'll also need to ensure you report your most updated address to UC San Diego. Visit tritonlink.ucsd.edu and click on Addresses to update your US address, foreign address, and emergency contact information within 10 days of any change. When updating your address, note that your current address will be your local US address once you arrive in the US. There are instructions on TritonLink on how to input your address, including how to report a foreign address outside the US. Now that you are all familiar with your documents, you'll be required to take action to let ISEO know that you've arrived to campus. Upon arrival to the US, you'll need to generate your electronic form I-94 showing entry to the US in J1 status. You'll also need to update your US address in Triton Link. Next, you'll need to log in into iPortal and submit the check-in for DS 2019 activation request. You'll upload your Form I-94 here. ICO will activate your CVIS record and you're ready to start your exchange program. As a reminder, you are required to enroll full-time in at least 12 units this quarter by next Friday, April 12th, which is the Friday of week 2. Failure to check in can have serious consequences to your immigration status. So please make sure you submit this request in iPortal. Now, if your plans change and you are unable to arrive to the US by April 12th, that's the deadline to add courses for spring, please talk to an ISEO advisor to understand your next steps. It may require coordination with Andra, our Global Exchange Coordinator, your college, academic departments, and other offices on campus. And with that, I'll hand it over to Felicia.
Thank you, Jo. So we are now going to go over J1 regulations so that you know the rules. We use the term maintaining status quite a bit when talking about regulations, but what does it actually mean to maintain your status? And what does it mean to hold an active CVIS record, a valid J1 status, or to fall out of status? We are going to go over those right now. Now, when our office first issues you a Form DS 2019, you hold initial status. This means you're ready to start your program on the program start date listed on your document. Once you arrive in the US and you submit your check-in request in iPortal, ISEO will validate or make active your CVIS record. Maintaining status means that you will follow certain rules, regulations, and reporting requirements for the duration of your program here at UC San Diego. Failure to follow the rules and reporting requirements can lead to you falling out of status, and then you would accrue time in the US without legal status, which is not good. You always want to make sure you're maintaining status in the US. Once you've completed your J1 program and maintained status throughout, you begin what's called your grace period, which is 30 days long for our J1 students. You can use these 30 days to begin work if you've been authorized for academic training before your grace period begins. You could transfer to another US school, or you could make plans to depart the US. The vast majority of our exchange students use this time to travel around the US and make plans to depart to their home country, but a few do pursue internships or employment. For our J1 students, you must request work authorization, also called academic training, before your program end date if you would like to work after your exchange program ends. If you decide to depart the US and do not take any action before the end of your grace period, your CVIS record will auto-complete. If you remain in the US after your 30-day grace period, you will be out of status. Now, maintaining status means that you're going to follow certain rules, regulations, and reporting requirements for the duration of your program. So let's look at each of these rules now. The first one is full-time enrollment. So I do want to briefly mention the importance of the 12-unit minimum enrollment requirement for international students because it's very, very important. You should, excuse me, you should plan to enroll in a minimum of 12 units by the Friday of week 2 and remain enrolled in your courses all quarter. International students, including exchange students, are required to enroll full-time to maintain visa status. However, there are a few exceptions to taking less than 12 units. But prior to dropping down to less than 12 units, please be sure to reach out to our office to speak to an advisor and to your home university advisor for more guidance. It's possible that global exchange students could be eligible to be approved to take less than 12 units for either academic or medical reasons. Again, this is very rare, but if you do come across a reason that you cannot be enrolled full-time, again, please reach out to our office so we can discuss this with you. So J1 students are also obligated to keep their Form DS 2019 up to date. Since your exchange program is only 1 quarter long, it's unlikely that you'll need to make any updates to your Form DS 2019. However, if any changes are necessary, you must request the update within 10 days of the change occurring by submitting a request to our office through iPortal. Again, the changes that you would report are very unlikely to happen, again, because you'll only be here for such a short amount of time with us. Academic integrity violations have a serious impact on your immigration status. Those who are subject to these violations must transfer out of UC San Diego within 15 days. This doesn't give students much time and can be stressful. Learn about excelling with integrity by visiting the Academic Integrity Office at aio.ucsd.edu. We recommend reviewing course syllabi and understanding what is expected of you when collaborating with your classmates and conducting research. Those who are subject to suspensions due to academic integrity violations can face a 1 quarter to a 1 year academic suspension, and this may cause the inability to continue your program of study here at UC San Diego. Next, we want to talk about the rules here in the US, which may be different from your home country. The US has state laws and federal laws. The federal laws apply to all 50 states, while state laws only apply to a particular state. Let's take medicinal marijuana as an example. Although it's legal in the state of California to purchase and partake in recreational use of marijuana, it is not legal in all 50 states. International students are subject to federal laws. So though legal in California, students who possess marijuana may face trouble with federal officials. So I briefly want to discuss work authorization requirements for J1 students, since seeking employment off campus after your program or on campus during your program is very popular with our exchange students. What you need to know is that J1 visa requires for you to obtain work authorization from ISEO in order to work either on or off campus in both paid or unpaid positions. As a J1 student, you must get work authorization approved by our office before you can begin any employment or internship opportunities. We do have more information on how to request work authorization on our website that you can easily access by going to iwork.ucsd.edu. So this card is actually located as well on our website. It's available for students to download as well as being able to take a screenshot of it. And it is at icontact.ucsd.edu under emergency contact. We highly recommend that you keep a picture of this, either downloaded or a screenshot on your phone. It contains important phone numbers as well as tips on what to do if you're ever detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, or arrested by the police. Now, we hope this never occurs for our students, but we do want you to have all of our emergency contact information and numbers in case you ever need assistance, both during the week when our office is open, as well as after hours and on the weekends. All right, so I want to thank Joe and Vanessa for being here today with us to help present. There is time now for us to answer some questions if you have any. So if you would like to please use the Q&A feature to submit any question about today's presentation, or if you have any questions that you would just like us to answer, please put them in the Q&A. Okay, so no pressure to ask us any questions. I think maybe we just did such an amazing job that you don't have any questions because we were so thorough. We are going to move on to the rest of the presentation. And if you do come across any questions during this time, please make sure that you throw them into the Q&A, and then we'll be able to answer any questions that you have at the end of the presentation as well. I'm going to turn it over to Vanessa now.
Thank you, Felicia. Now we'd like to share some ways that you can know what's happening at UC San Diego for the time that you're going to spend here with us this quarter. Our iEvents calendar is a live calendar that features globally engaged events hosted by student organizations and campus departments throughout the year. Head to ievents.ucsd.edu to see the different events and how to register to attend them. An upcoming event we have is next week. We will host our monthly Global Coffee Hour. It will take place in our ISEO Eucalyptus Grove from 8:30 to 10 a.m., where you can come enjoy a cup of coffee and a morning pastry, meet your fellow international students and staff, and participate in fun activities. So you can register and see more about this event at ievents.ucsd.edu. Now, some more specific information about our socials. We have intercultural social hours, and they are hosted for students by students, specifically our international peer coaches. These occur monthly in the afternoon. They are also at Eucalyptus Grove, the same place as our previously mentioned coffee hour. And you can find out more about the events for spring. They're not up on the iEvents calendar yet, but they will be very shortly. So please keep an eye out at ievents.ucsd.edu to make sure you know when they're going to happen next.
Sorry, and I'm just gonna throw something out there right now. All of our events, for the most part, are free to attend. So free coffee, free pastries. We often have free giveaways. So sometimes cups and t-shirts, stickers at our events. So we really want students to feel welcome and have an opportunity to meet other students on campus, as well as our staff at these events with, again, usually free food and free fun giveaways that say UCSD and other things on them.
Thank you for the great plug, Felicia. Please take a moment, if you would, to scan the QR code on the screen. It will take you to the survey for this session. We would love to hear your feedback so we can continually improve these sessions and better serve you. While you're filling the survey out, we have a few final reminders for you. Critically submit your check-in form via iPortal. Please don't forget to do this. Second, make sure you follow iupdates.ucsd.edu for the most up-to-date information from ISEO. We have a weekly newsletter, we have Zoom advising hours, and we're also on social media. Finally, as mentioned before, we have icontact.ucsd.edu if you would like to communicate with us. Thank you all for attending today's session, and welcome to UC San Diego. We'll wait just a few moments for questions.